Let's make the most versatile card out there, perfect for any occasion or any person. Join me for my creative day as we make this versatile card. I have already pre-cut my paper to 4¼ by 5½ inches for the base and 4 by 5¼ inches for the front panel. Then I selected this willow embossing folder to use for my card's front panel. When I open the embossing folder, I'm feeling to make sure that I have the side with the raised edges that I'm working with. The other side of the folder will be indented. I'm going to gently pull my ink pad over the raised parts to transfer some ink onto the design. This ink is then going to be pushed into the card, into the recesses of the paper. Now, I'm not too concerned about being totally perfect because the look that I'm going for is more of a rustic look. So there will be some imperfections. But just so I don't have any big streaks of ink, I am taking a little bit of my stamp cleaner and an old rag to clean up some of the sections where the ink really dragged across the flat panel of the embossing folder. Once you have your embossing folder inked, you're going to take your piece of paper and gently lay it down on the inked side of the embossing folder. Now I'm holding it down so it doesn't wiggle or move while I close the folder, and then I'm going to run the embossing folder through my Sizzix Big Shot. And it's the perfect time to remind you to like and subscribe. To take out your paper, I first flip the folder over so that the inked side is on top, and then I open and remove my paper. Doing this will prevent any smears. Now, if you want, you can run another paper through this same embossing folder and you'll get a more subtle print. When you are done with your embossing folder, immediately clean off the ink from the folder. Now, you can use ink remover to do this or just run it under the water. Now that I have my front panel with the ink in the recessed parts of the card, I'm going to layer this on top of my 5½ by 4¼ piece of paper. Now remember, when taping, make sure you tape the edges of your paper and across the middle so it stays nice and secure. Our next step is to stamp a greeting. So here I have Happy Birthday, and I'm just stamping it using the Misty Stamp Positioner so that I can ink it 2 times to make sure that I get a nice solid image. To add some distress to the greeting, I'm going to be inking the edges of the greeting paper with the same color that I used for both the stamp and the embossing folder. And I'm going over not only the edges, but also across the middle of the card, because I'm giving it that rustic look. And I have placed my greeting on the card, and now it's time for some embellishments. Now this is totally optional, but I think it adds a little something special to the card front. I'm going to add a little bit of dewdrops on the front of my card to give it a little dimension. Just place a tiny drop of glue and adhere your dewdrops. Now I mentioned that this card is perfect for any occasion or person, so now I'm going to show you how you can mix things up. Just print, stamp, or write your greetings that you want and place it instead of the happy birthday greeting. Because the front of this card is so neutral, it'll work for a lot of occasions. Now that the card front and the greeting are made, I'm going to keep them handy for when I need a card. This year, I'm trying to work a little bit smarter and not harder. I'm keeping the fronts of the cards, like the one I just made, in a box with some card bases, and then all the sentiments in a container. I'm going to store these all together so that when I need a card, I can quickly grab a card base, a front, and a sentiment and put it together. Let me know what you think of this idea and if you think it'll work for you. If you like the ideas and suggestions I gave you in the video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and I'll continue to share my creative days with you. And that's all till our next creative day.